The reading is from John, chapter 15, verses 9 to 17. As the Father has loved me, so have I loved you. Now remain in my love. If you keep my commands, you will remain in my love, just as I have kept my Father's commands and remain in his love. I have told you this so that my joy may be in you, and that your joy may be complete. My command is this: love each other as I have loved you. Greater love has no one than this, to lay down one's life for one's friends. You are my friends if you do what I command. I no longer call you servants, because a servant does not know his master's business. Instead, I have called you friends, for everything that I learned from my Father, I have made known to you. You did not choose me, but I chose you and appointed you so that you might go and bear fruit, fruit that will last. And so whatever you ask in my name, the Father will give you. This is my command: love each other.
So today I want to continue on the theme of the vine in John chapter 15. The first part of the service, part of the story was read last week, and Christine probably spoke about that, being on the vine and being connected. And today I'm going to continue that theme with the second part of that reading. But on reflection, I really love when driving home from Victor Harbour, you come over the top of Wollonga Hill back to Adelaide, and you look over Wollonga and to the McLaren Vale Flat area, and you've got Adelaide Hills in the distance, and it's more spectacular in late afternoon in autumn when the sun has got that brown look across it. The autumn sun is low. You have the hills to the right or to the east and the sea to the west. And in the middle, you've got hectares and hectares and hectares and hectares, if you're old school, acres and acres and acres of vines. Vines and vineyards as far as you can see. And from a distance, it looks like a tangled mess of green going everywhere, sprawling out across the valley. But as you get closer and you drive through, you start to notice the order and the way the vineyards are put together. The shaping, the pruning, the care and the maintenance of the vineyards. You notice the rows and how the vines are pruned and all loved and taken care of, and they're strung out along the wires. Each branch is trained and cut to go out to produce fruit, and it's provided space in which to grow. Each branch, funny enough, is connected to the vine. And Jesus says, I am the vine and you are the branches. Abide in me, or abide in my love, or remain in me. Now, I wrote in 1994 on a scrap piece of paper a poem that's called Autumn Trees. And it was written in May, as I said, a long time ago this month. I'd like to share it with you. Cool wind, heavy clouds, fresh, crisp, clean. How time changes moment to moment. Busy trees full of colour, standing firm, alive. One by one you let your leaves go, as if they are drawn to the earth. The journey is short, floating, falling, blown by the wind, north, south, west, east. Once gathered in community, guarded by the other, individual yet many. Alone you seek your goal, but gather. Your freedom is short, and now still dry, wrinkled. A carpet of colour among the green, sharing your body to give life. Autumn trees. I own an investment property with a vineyard. Yes, I'm a grape producer on the side. But you know, I'm not a green thumb or a green finger. And I'm no vine dresser or gardener. In fact, I know next to nothing about vines, so my investment property is very good if I just leave it alone. I'm glad to receive my knowledge about vines from Jesus. He says God's the vine dresser and He's the one who prunes. I just go along with my secateurs and I just cut and hope for the best and pray that God will sort the rest of it out. So my 2 vines makes it a plural, so a vineyard are at the back of our house. So you all thought I owned some parts of the Coonawarra or something, didn't you? No. But my 2 vines, vineyard, haven't actually been pruned for a number of seasons. But they still produce fruit. But it's a mess of branches and leaves and bunches of grapes that need work. But my vines, like many this time of the year, are starting to look a little bit sad because it's autumn. 3 months ago, my vines were green and had a number of bunches of fruit, but the birds got them, unfortunately. Now they're starting to turn brown, a bit motley and mouldy and sparse and a bit woody. The leaves are dropping and revealing a tangled web of woody vines spraying out across the wire of the fence. I don't think Adam and Eve would like this time of the year very much. Think about it. Yeah. But I choose to keep my 2 vines. They're mine, and I can proudly say I own a vineyard. The scriptures today highlight another one of the sayings of Jesus, like I am the door, the resurrection, I am the sheep, I am the gate, the good shepherd, etc. I am the vine, he says. Jesus, as the vine, is similar to that concept of a house or the home of God, where he says, abide in me, stay with me, remain with me, stay put, remain exactly where you are, dwell in me, have your lodging in me, your place of rest and home. Jesus says, I have come and made my home with you, now make your home in me, or abide or remain in me. A sense of home is important in our society, and it has been part of our Australian dream for so long. To own that 1/4-acre block, oh, those days. You may recall the song made famous by John Williamson, sing it along, give me a home among the gum trees, with lots of plum trees, a sheep or 2 and a kangaroo, a clothesline out the back, a veranda out the front, and a rocking chair. But we might also recall Dorothy of The Wizard of Oz. Dorothy's desire was to return to Kansas. When she closes her eyes and kicks her heels together, saying, there's no place like home. There's no place like home. There's no place like home. She wanted to get back and to abide in her home, in her community, in her relationships and among the people she knew, to be connected or reconnected. Although the word abide in the Bible gives us this sense of home, Jesus' illustration is not one of houses or buildings, but rather a living relationship of intertwined grapevine. Jesus is the vine, the main root, the main vine, sustaining, nurturing all the convoluted, tangled, woody, sparse branches that go everywhere in all directions. But to be in Jesus is to be part of this organic process of life. It's interesting to note that branches can grow wherever they want, as long as they're attached to the vine, to the source, to the root system. Jesus is saying, look at the vine, see how it's connected. It's vital to remain attached. Look how the fruit is connected to the branches. And notice how the gardener needs to prune and nurture in order to get great fruit, not grapefruit. Another pun there, that's right. With all this talk about branches and vines and fruit, we might be thinking, well, gee, how fruitful am I? How fruitful am I? I'd better work hard at being fruitful. And so we set about working out what is faithfulness or fruitfulness, and we start thinking something like what St. Paul writes in Galatians chapter 5:22, the fruit of the Spirit, where it says love. The fruit of the Spirit is love, joy, peace, patience, kindness, generosity, faithfulness, gentleness, and self-control. You know, working hard at being fruitful is not, in my opinion, the appropriate response to the words of Jesus. You see, Jesus says you're not to try hard to bear fruit, but simply abide in me. Remain in me. Don't try to do it, just abide. Abide in me is about relationship, not results. Fruitfulness is a natural consequence of a developing relationship with Christ. He doesn't say those who work their guts out at being fruitful, at being loving and just, working hard at being peaceful and gentle and self-control and patient, will, by doing so, find themselves related to me. The equation runs the other way. Strengthen your connection with me, graft yourself to the vine, draw deeply on the sap that is God's love and life, and you will be fruitful. You will be fruitful. It's not so much about doing or trying, but being in, grafted in, and remaining in. Jesus is saying here that our fruitfulness is not based on our independence, but our dependence on the vine. So how can we stay connected to the vine? How can we ensure that we don't become withered and dry and end up having the chop? Jesus didn't say connect with the church, but rather abide in me. The community, the church, is the branches connected to the vine. One needs to be in the vine to grow and to mature. Outside of the vine, apart from the vine, the branches wither and die. Apart from the source, they dry up, receive no nutrients, no water, and eventually drop off. So this passage, this John 15, this famous I am the vine passage, is about relationship, not results, not what we work hard at doing, but a relationship of staying connected. And the last word in the note to take away from today is this: that God loves the vine and God loves the branches. The vine loves the branches. And as a result of abiding in the vine, good fruit will be produced. God the vine grower, God the vine dresser, the gardener will do God's part. If we're fair dinkum about developing our relationship with Jesus and becoming all that God would want us to be, then God will treat us with love and care and prune and graft and tie up and water and cover and do all those wonderful things that we do to produce good fruit. So let us all seek to abide and to remain in the vine, in Jesus, and develop and grow. And Jesus says, by this is my Father glorified, that you bear much fruit and love one another. Abide in me, remain in my love. Amen.